uh, hello, can anyone can anyone hear me out there? I'm gonna type in the chat box. Can anyone hear me? Oh, great. Okay. So everything is working okay. I'm so glad to hear that. Hello, everyone. Hi. Are you all doing okay today? HJ, you're doing okay? Yoonjung, yes, good to hear. Everyone's doing fine. Great. So, can you hear me okay? Am I speaking too loud or too low? Yeah. Great. I'm so good to hear that. It's okay for you. Great. Okay, so yeah, it's wonderful that you're all able to join me today for our Ask Brandon letters. Just like last time, I'm going to try to get through at least 2 letters today. So hopefully you will find that interesting. Our first topic is the perfect match. And when you think of somebody saying the perfect match, what do you think I'm talking about? A box of matches? Yes. So it may look like I'm shining because I have a black background and I'm wearing a white shirt, so I'm sort of absorbing all the light in here. Yeah. Yejin, I heard peas in the pod, right? So I think you're on the right track. So when I'm talking about the perfect match, I'm referring to the perfect relationship. The perfect match with your relationship partner. And I think this is something that we no doubt have a lot to talk about. Yeah. Just to get us started, I would like to share 2 warm-up questions. So hopefully this will free up our mind and get us acclimated to the topic. Oh, by the way, I want to post the link to the Word document here. Hopefully that works. Okay, so if you follow that link, you will be able to see the letters that we will consider today. Yeah. Good. Hopefully, if you're not able to see the Word document by following that link, please let me know and I will try to fix the situation. But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to share those questions with you. Here they are. Okay, so the 2 questions are, how long do you think people should date before they get married? And what is the best age to get married? You know, I've noticed in some countries that, or some people have this idea that at a certain age, you should do certain things. Like at this age, I should finish university, then I should get a job, then I should get married. Is there a best time to do something like this? Hi. Yeah. It's good to have lots of visitors. Chubul, good to see you too. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll give you a minute to perhaps respond. If you're shy, that's okay. We can just move on. Hyojong, good to see you. Yeah, welcome. Yeah. Sonhwa, it's good to see you today. HJ, more than a year. Okay, that's a start. Yeah. Okay, then we have another opinion. Park Angel says the couple should date for at least 2 years before getting married. And we got 1.5 years. Birdie-Fly95 says the period of time doesn't matter. There is no such thing as the perfect age to marry. And I'm inclined to agree with you. I also agree that everyone is sort of operating on their own time frame, their own timetable. So one person, they may be ready to make a commitment in their 20s. Somebody else may wait until their 30s. We're all different, right? But yeah, I think that we can all agree that it depends. Yes. Depends on their mind. That's great. Yeah. Good. Okay, we have another one. Yoonjung, after 3 years of dating, we think about marriage. That's true. You know, I've known people who have dated for 10 years and they still haven't gotten married. So, and then finally they're thinking about tying the knot. So really, it depends on who we are, right? Yeah, so good, guys. So the reason why I'm asking you these questions is the first letter we're going to consider deals with somebody who has a little bit of relationship problems. Actually, he's having problems finding the ideal match. So let's consider his plight together and see if we can offer some advice. No doubt he will be watching this broadcast and he will be interested to hear what you have to say. So let's consider about that. Yeah. So many good ideas, guys. I really appreciate it. Nice. Okay. Good. So I thought we could start off with some memes. I thought this was funny. Dad, will I ever find love? Okay. Yeah. It's always good to have some comic relief, right? I finally found love, page 96 in the dictionary. Oh, this is I like this one. How to find love. Step 1, buy a cat. Step 2, call it love. Step 3, lose the cat. Step 4, find the cat. Congratulations, you found love. All right. Unfortunately, it's not as easy as that. I'm sure we could all agree. Okay. All right, so the letter begins. Dear Professor Noland, that's me. I wanted to share an experience I had while on a blind date. Okay, so it looks like somebody set him up on a blind date. I know that finding a suitable mate is not easy for many people, and I am one of those people. But still, this experience baffles me, surprises me. This experience baffles me, and I can't help but take it personally. Uh-oh. We met at a cafe and ordered drinks. I suggested going to a movie, but she said she doesn't like movies. I just think they're kind of boring, she said. Her tone was very unenthusiastic, and she kept glancing at her phone. All right, I said. If you don't like movies, then what do you want to do? Well, if you don't mind, I just want to finish up my coffee and get going, she responded. Oh no. So get going means she wants to leave. She doesn't want to go be on this date any longer. Poor guy. I asked her, what's wrong? Is it something I said? Then she told me that she didn't think we were very compatible, that's all. We're so different, and she doesn't think it's going to work out very well. At this point, I must admit, I was a little offended. I felt that she had judged me unfairly. I asked her why, but she just looked at her phone and said she had to go. I never saw her again. Normally, something like this wouldn't affect my self-confidence, but this has happened more than once. These experiences are starting to make me pessimistic about dating in general. Isn't it what's on the inside that counts? How you treat people. I've always thought I'm a nice guy, but now I'm not so sure. Professor Noland, I was wondering if you or your viewers have any idea about what I'm doing wrong. I look forward to hearing what you have to say. Sincerely, Anonymous. So anonymous means no name. We're trying to protect people's identities here. So this could be an embarrassing situation. He doesn't want his name to be revealed. Fair enough. Okay, take a few minutes, skim through the article again, think about how you would respond. Try to understand what's going on. And so I'm going to give you a few minutes to do this, and we can share, perhaps if you have any ideas, in the comment section. Okay. Good. All right. So guys, just like last time, I'm going to post the link right here. You can follow that and read the letter yourself if you are so inclined, if you want to do that. Yeah. Birdiefly95, you were on the right track. I agree that we don't have all of the details, so it's impossible to really understand what's going on, and we're also only hearing from his side of the story, his point of view. We don't know what the woman was thinking, and we don't know much about this guy either. So it's a really good observation you made. Okay, Hyojung says, it is your fault and you are just not her style. Fair enough. And that is perfectly okay. Okay, we have another commenter saying, anyhow, I'm not fond of blind dates. And to tell you the truth, I'm not either. In my experience, I don't think I've ever gone on a blind date. It's something that happened. I don't think Americans do it, to be honest, very often. So I didn't really hear about blind dates until after I came to Korea, and there's really a culture of people setting other people up with their friends. Fair enough. Yeah. Good. But anyway, regardless of what happened, it does seem like this guy feels pretty bad. So maybe we can talk about that later. Oh, Rose Troll, what's the question? Just think about the letter, and if you have any opinion about how you would respond, let us know. We're going to talk more about it. There's not really any question. It's sort of like an open discussion for a few minutes. So hopefully that helps. Okay. While you're thinking it over, I have another comment saying he might have a high standard for women. Perhaps if our standards are too high, it could cause some difficulty for us when we try to find that perfect match. Perfect. Let's look at this together, shall we? Okay, so let's take a look at some vocabulary that we found. Baffle, to totally bewilder or perplex. When something happens to you and it's so unexpected or confusing that it surprises you, it baffles you. So we saw from the article that the writer is baffled. Why is he baffled? Well, because the woman rejected him very suddenly, and he was not expecting it, and he doesn't like it, and it's confusing and surprising. He is baffled. Okay. Moving on to glance, to take a brief and hurried look. So we saw in the email, her tone was very unenthusiastic. That means that she wasn't very into the conversation. She didn't really care about what they were talking about. And she kept glancing at her phone. So, I don't know, have you guys ever been in a situation where you're talking to someone and they keep looking at their phone? It's almost like you're not very important. They would rather be somewhere else. So no doubt this made the guy feel pretty bad, and she was unenthusiastic and not afraid to show it. Poor guy. Poor guy indeed. Moving on. Get going. So this is a colloquial expression, to leave, to depart. Okay. So in the passage, the woman said, "Oh, I have to get going." This means that she doesn't want to continue the date any longer. She wants to leave. She doesn't like him, not that into him. She wants to get going. Good. To be compatible, able to exist, live, or work successfully with someone else. So in the email, the woman said that she didn't think we were very compatible. We're so different. She doesn't think it's going to work out very well. So the woman is pretty much saying, you're not my type. No. So, fair enough. To be compatible. Moving on. To be offended. When someone or something makes you upset or angry, it offends you. I think we've actually looked at this word before in the previous week. The writer says, I was a little offended. I felt that she had judged me unfairly. Okay. So he feels bad because she judged him, and basically, and let's be honest here, if she wants to leave, that means she thinks she can do better. She thinks that he is not good enough. So this judgment makes him naturally a little upset, a little offended. Okay, that can happen in this situation. And this can damage his self-confidence. So self-confidence, the belief that you can do things well and that other people respect you. Okay, so hopefully we all have a lot of self-confidence, and if you don't have self-confidence, it really shows, right? The man in the letter says, normally something like this wouldn't affect my self-confidence, but this has happened more than once. So he's saying that if I'm rejected one time, it's okay. 2 times, okay. But I've been rejected by women over and over again, and it is affecting his belief that he is worthy of affection, I believe, if I'm reading between the lines correctly. Good. Self-confidence. Last word, pessimistic. Emphasizing the bad part of a situation. So the writer says, I am pessimistic about dating in general. He's had a lot of bad experiences, and he just thinks that it's always going to be a bad situation. He doesn't like dating. He thinks the bad result is always going to come true. So he is pessimistic. Okay, great. Before continuing, I want to share my response to this writer. To whom it may concern, your question was, do I have any idea what you're doing wrong? To be honest, I don't really have enough information to fully assess your situation. I don't know you. I don't know what you look like. I don't know your personality, and I don't know who your dating partners are either. So there is no way I can give you specific advice regarding your experiences with women. What I do know is that you are handling rejection very poorly, and I think on some level you know this too. Dating is a numbers game. It is inevitable that some women will like you and some or most will not. This is the way it is for all men unless you are some young Leonardo DiCaprio, right? My advice to you, care less, date more. Don't let a few rejections mess with your self-confidence. You have the right to ask women out, and they have the right to reject you. It's their right. If you go on enough dates, you are bound to find a woman who appreciates you eventually. But, and there's a but here, but if you notice that you keep getting rejected every single time, then maybe it's time to objectively examine yourself and see if there's anything you can do to make yourself more attractive. I wish I could be more helpful. Perhaps my viewers have more insight. Let's see what they have to say. Sincerely, Brandon Noland. Okay. All right, guys, what do you think? How would you respond? Do you agree with my answer, or do you have something else to add? Let's see what you have to say. Yeah. What do you guys think? Oh, there's a lot of comments here. This is great. I love your comments. Yeah. N says, watching a movie was a mistake. It's too long. Thank you for your input. Yeah, perhaps. Yeah. Yeah, Chubul, I hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly. If I'm not, sorry. When somebody says I have to get going, they want to leave early, it means they would rather be doing something else, right? So when she said this, it is true. She means I'm not very into you. I don't like you that much. So fair enough. Yeah, it's happened more than once. It has. That's what the letter is saying. Okay, we have an opinion here from Jason. She was a bit rude because she was looking at her phone. What do you guys think? Do you agree with Jason? Was the woman being rude? Yeah. Okay, we have some agreements. I think this is just common etiquette these days. When you're having coffee with someone, you're engaged in a conversation, you don't look at your phone. It's rude. Yeah, even if you're not on a date, if you're just with coworkers or something and you're on your phone, they could take offense. Yeah, Hyojong says he should recover his self-confidence. Yeah, he can't change what happened, but he can change how he moves on. Perfect. Sonhwa says, I agree with the idea that if he's rejected every time, he should be more attractive, or think about how what I can do differently to remedy this situation. Perfect. I agree with you. And says he has to search more and be more thoughtful about what his partner likes. And yeah, I think it's obvious that she's not interested in movies. It is possible that she just doesn't like him. I don't know. I think that if the woman likes the guy, she doesn't care if he wants to see a movie. It's more of a matter of how much does she like him. But you are probably right. Maybe she thought it sounds boring. Yeah. Yeah, one comment says he should find a way to make himself more attractive, I think. How can you do that? Any ideas about how to be more attractive? Well, I'll give you my opinion. If you want to be more attractive, focus on yourself, self-improvement, Don't be too obsessed about dating or about any one thing. That'll make you look cooler. Work out, take care of your health, wash your body, and dress well. I think that's a start. So those are just the basics, guys, right? Oh, I was waiting for this. So one commenter says you can join a dating app, and that can be a way to expose yourself to a wider range of people. So in the past, blind dates were the most common way, or a very common way of meeting people. Nowadays, dating apps have become a more common way of meeting people. N says, muscle is the only answer. Okay, perhaps. Joyce, it's good to hear from you again. Develop yourself. And that doesn't have to only be muscles. It could also be developing your career, getting a promotion, improving where you live, getting a bigger apartment, whatever floats your boat. Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah. This is interesting. One commenter says he has to cultivate inner beauty as well as appearance. So when we're talking about inner beauty, usually we're referring to personality. And haven't we noticed that some people are attractive because they're funny, they're smart, they're witty. So physical attractiveness is not the only factor that draws people together. Perfect. HJ says everyone has a different style. This guy was not this girl's style, so fair enough. Just meet someone else. Very practical, very logical. I like it. Yeah, I totally agree. Nice. Oh yeah, Hyojung says plastic surgery. We were talking about that a few weeks ago. Yeah. Well, for some people, that may be the answer, I guess, or part of the answer, right? Everything in moderation. All right, so let's take a look at our discussion questions. I think I'm really happy with the feedback so far. Really good ideas. Actually, I decided I'm just going to post in the chat room. So the first question is, do you think people's criteria change over time? For example, when we get older, does our ideal type change? So I think we can all agree that it changes. The type of people we're attracted to in our 20s are different than when we're in our 30s, right? But how does it change? I thought that was interesting. How does our ideal type change as we progress in age? Personally, when you think of, I don't know, it's a long time ago. When you think of high school students, young 20s, what are they attracted to? Hot, physical appearance. But maybe as we get older, those things become less important and we start thinking more practically about our future. Just an idea. Right. So just like what I was saying, one commenter says, when I was young, I liked tall and handsome men. Yeah. And she still does. Okay. But now there are added qualifiers, right? The personality matters a lot more. Good. All right. So we have another commenter that says his or her ideal type changes from the appearance to the mind. Okay. So fair enough, and I think that is something we've heard many times. Yeah, we become more interested in what's inside. What's inside that counts. All right. Good afternoon. Yeah, we're happy to have everyone here. Next question. Why do so many relationships not last? Why do people break up with their partners? Are there any especially common reasons? What do you think? Right, someone, I saw a comment, somebody who understands me. That's important. Yeah. It does no good if the other person is very physically attractive, if they are mean to you, if they don't respect you. It's a big no-no, right? Perfect. Okay, we have Kim saying personality differences. That is true. Personality differences do account for a great many breakups. Maybe someone is introverted. They don't like going out, and then you pair up with an extroverted person, there's going to be conflict. Because when one person wants to stay home, the other person wants to go out and do something and mingle with people. So when you have that conflict, sometimes it can really put strain on the relationship. I totally agree. Totally agree. Yeah. Good. All right. And then we have another commenter saying perhaps they have different directions and purpose. Right. If one person wants to live abroad and the other person wants to remain in the hometown or something like that, it can cause them to break up. Yeah. If they don't understand each other or don't care to understand each other, it could cause trouble. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then we have a comment from Joyce. She says, sure, but at some point, we have to accept what they are, right? So, to some extent, I agree with you, Joyce, that if we want to have a relationship that lasts, we have to be willing to accept the other person with all of their flaws. We have to be a little flexible. Yeah, I totally agree. That's great. All right, guys. I'm really happy with your comments. We're going to have to move on and take a look at the second letter. Okay? So this has all been very good. So the second letter, we're going to move on to Ask Brandon number 2. Excuse me, number 7. All right. Number 7. So this letter is about money issues. Okay. Let's see, is it going on? Okay, good. Dear Professor Noland, that's me, I'm writing to vent about some money issues I've been having with a friend of mine. You see, I made a big mistake. You don't have to lecture me about it. I already know what I did wrong. I just want to get some things off my chest. 2 months ago, my friend, let's call him Jesse, not his real name, obviously, approached me and asked for money. Hey dude, Jesse said, I'm running a little short of money this month. It's all my fault. I know I need to budget my money and start cutting a few corners. Why are you telling me this? I asked him. The bank is going to repo my car if I don't come up with $700. I promise you that if you bail me out just this once, I will pay you back in 2 weeks when I get my paycheck. In retrospect, I know lending him the money was a really stupid thing to do. It's been 2 months and Jesse still hasn't paid me back. To make matters worse, he's been avoiding me. When I text him to ask him if he wants to hang out, he says he's very busy and that he just can't find the time. He doesn't even mention how much money he owes me. Okay, I know I screwed up. At this point, I don't even expect him to pay me back. The thing is, Jesse is a really cool guy, and it just sucks if I lose him as a friend because of this. I was wondering if you think I should make an effort to rebuild our friendship, or is it not even worth my time? Sincerely, Anonymous. Okay. So, once again, I'm going to post the link in the chat box. If you want to reread the letter in its entirety, you can follow the link here. Okay, we're going to take 2 minutes to look over that, and if you have any comments or any potential responses to the letter, let me know. I think we've all had a situation like this. We loan money to a friend, they don't pay us back. It can really create a strain on the relationship, right? Or perhaps we're in the opposite boat. We're broke and we need to ask our friends for money. Personally, that is a more embarrassing situation, to have to ask our friends for money, but it does happen, doesn't it? All right, so we have a comment from Mimi Blog. Money breaks relationships. Ain't that the truth? I completely agree. When you involve money issues with your friendships, they tend to break. That could be a good indicator of how strong your friendship is if you're able to survive that. Yeah. That's great. Okay, guys, feel free to keep taking a look at that. I know it may take some time. Let's go over it together. Hopefully this will help you out. Okay, here's the letter. Vocabulary: to vent, to express a negative emotion in a forceful way. So the person in the letter says, I'm writing to vent about some money issues I've been having with a friend of mine. So when you vent, you're just like, you just want to release your emotion to make yourself feel better. It may not be fair, it may not be logical, you just need to get some stuff off your chest. In this case, the writer knows that he made a mistake, but he just wants to tell us about his story to make himself feel better. He has a lot of negative emotion. And, excuse me, that should be not motion, it should be emotion. There, I'm going to fix that. Good. Moving on to lecture. So normally when we think about lecture, a professor is lecturing students, but this is a different meaning. To lecture someone means to talk angrily or seriously to someone in order to criticize or warn them. So in a way that they think is unfair or unnecessary. We can think of a practical example here. Whenever I drive my grandpa somewhere, he lectures me about driving too fast. It's sort of like complaining in a way. Good. Moving on. To get something off my chest. To say something that one has wanted to say for a long time, resulting in a feeling of relief. So this is sort of like venting, right? The writer says, I already know what I did wrong. I just want to get some things off my chest. So he just wants to relieve himself of those negative emotions. Moving on. Running short of something. Okay, very common expression, very good to know. To not have enough of something. Oh no, I'm running a little short of gas. If you're in your car and you're about to break down because not enough gas, you're running short of gas. The writer says, or Jesse says, I'm running a little short of money this month. This means that he doesn't have enough money. He needs help. Good. Cutting corners. To do something in the quickest, cheapest way possible. So Jesse knows that he has money problems. He knows he needs to budget his money and start cutting a few corners. So maybe Jesse likes to go out on Friday and spend lots of money hanging out with his friends. If you're cutting corners, you're reducing your expenditures every month. You're reducing how much you spend. Cutting corners. Repo. I don't know if you guys do this in Korea, but repo means to repossess something. In the United States, when a bank doesn't get payments on time, they may repossess your car. So that means that if you're not paying your car loan, the bank will send somebody to take the car back, and they will keep your car until you catch up on your payments. I don't know if you guys do this in Korea. If you do, let me know. I'd be interested to hear about it. So Jesse says, the bank is going to repo my car if I don't come up with $700. They're going to take my car away. Good. Bail me out. To release someone from difficulty, to rescue. So Jesse tells the writer, I promise you that if you bail me out just this once, I will pay you back in 2 weeks when I get my paycheck. Bail me out. Rescue me, save me by giving me that $700. Good. Find the time to devote one's time in their schedule to make something happen. Jesse tells the writer that he can't find the time to meet him. So I don't know, to me I think Jesse's avoiding the writer because he doesn't have the money to pay back or isn't willing to, one or the other. Last one, worth my time. To be valuable or worthwhile. So if you are not worth someone's time, that means you are not valuable and that they would be better off spending their time doing something else. So the question that the writer poses to us, should he make an effort to rebuild this friendship? Is it worth his time? So this is the key question here. Is it even worth it to repair this friendship? I don't know. Would you guys want someone like Jesse as your friend? He is cool, but he's not responsible, is he? Cool. Okay, here's my response. To whom it may concern, first of all, I would like to commend you for knowing when to cut your losses. From your letter, I can see that you've learned your lesson and have realistic expectations. You are most likely never going to see that money again, so just forget about it. The real question is whether you should try to rebuild your friendship with Jesse. I don't see why not. If you can forget about the money and not feel angry with Jesse when you guys hang out, then your friendship can continue. Bear in mind that if you constantly remind Jesse about the money he owes you, you probably won't hear from him again. He won't want to hang out. Next time, be more careful when you lend money to your friends. Jesse has proven that he is unreliable with money. Just accept that about his personality and never loan him money again. In this way, all similar problems in the future can be avoided. On the other hand, if you resent your friend for not keeping his promise, then maybe your friendship can continue. Personally, I never loan money to friends, or if I do, I consider it to be a gift and never expect to be paid back. All right, viewers, have you had an experience like this? What would you do in this situation? Specifically, would you try to repair the friendship after your friend hasn't paid you back what they owe you? Let's see what you have to say. Yeah. Oh, so you guys do have something. Yeah, apyohada. So that means repossess in Korean, and you guys do the same thing. That's good to know. In case I don't pay my car payments, right? Sonwal says, if you loan money to someone, it actually isn't your money anymore. And I completely agree with this. You have to let it go. Yeah. All right. So Jason says that Jesse actually is not cool. He is not a good friend. Okay. Despite that, it does seem like the writer still wants to be friends with Jesse because he seems like a cool guy in some circumstances, situations. But yeah, I agree. Maybe you think that someone who doesn't pay back their debts are not cool. Yeah. Okay, another commenter says, I can't continue that friendship. All right, so perhaps you've had a similar experience in the past, right? Yeah. Okay, we have a comment from Hetty H. Hello. If you think about it too much, it's stressful, so you recommend just forgetting. Just forget. Yeah, sometimes it's simple to let it go. If there's something you can't control, then don't think about it. N says he should sue Jesse. That's one option. To be fair, sometimes when you sue someone, it turns out to be cost more money than it's worth. I think suing someone might be expensive and you might lose or something like that. But good advice. Yeah. Hyojong says he should say goodbye with his friend because his friend doesn't keep his promises. Yeah. But sometimes relationships are more important than money. That's right. Perhaps we can forget about it in certain situations. Perfect. Good. Okay, good. So I think we could all agree that lending money to our friend is a very risky proposition. Let's talk more about money in our discussion with our discussion questions. The first question is, and I'll post it here. Chubul, thanks for your comment. She says, if I don't have the same experience, I don't have the same experience, but I think that breaking our trust is a big mistake. Yeah, so if you're ever in the position where you're borrowing money from your friend, I recommend, by all means, please pay that money back, because if you don't, you will lose respect. Because you better believe that person is going to tell all of your friends about what happened at some point. So keep that in mind. First question is, do you invest in the stock market? Do you recommend it? And the reason why I'm asking this question is because it's risky And since COVID-19, everyone's doing it. Everyone I talk to is investing money in the stock market these days, and it's becoming very volatile. It goes up and down, up and down. So am I the only one? Am I the only one who's heard about this? One thing I've noticed in Korea is that when you invest in the stock market, there's a 30% sort of limit. So the stocks can only fall by 30% or increase by 30% on any given day. And this was new to me because in other countries, there's no such buffer. So you guys have a little bit of security if you're into this stuff. All right, interesting comment here. Hyojong says, I've invested over 10 years. I never recommend it. So, Hyojong, I'm not sure if I understand you correctly. Are you saying that you've been investing for 10 years? Or did you invest 10 years ago? There's a big difference there. Let me know if you can. Yeah, Hetty says you should study a lot before doing it because it is risky. I agree. Really good point. Oh, and it is addictive. Sure. Personally, I've never invested in stocks before, but everyone's talking about it, so I'm starting to wonder if I'm missing out on something. Yeah. Okay. Great to hear. Next question. Guys, I had to insert a COVID-19 question into this. I couldn't help myself. Do you think you spend more or less money after COVID-19? Oh, there's a lot of questions. I'm surprised. Uh-huh. Okay, so Minji says, I've started to invest in the stock market since this year. It's risky, but nowadays the bank interest is too low, so it's one of the good ways to make money. I can agree with one thing. The bank interests are too low. If you put your money in a bank account, it won't even compensate for inflation. So that's actually a little depressing to think about. Every year, our money is worth less and less. Sad, but true. Yoonjung says, I don't think so. Since coronavirus, coupon boxes have been coming to my house every day. So you're still shopping, you're still spending money, but it's online now, right? We have one commenter says, less because I never meet my friends. And that's true. When you meet your friends, you go out, you have dinner, it can be really expensive. So yeah, we're not really spending our money socially anymore, are we? Yeah. Okay, I was waiting for someone to say this. We have a comment that says, I have to reduce consumption since I have less income. And that is so true. So many of us are dealing with restricted income because of the economy becoming deflated. Yeah, totally true. Yeah. Well, guys, I really appreciate all your comments today. We've had a lot of good ideas. I've enjoyed it. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to end the stream. We're going to have to end a little early because Professor Cassandra is going to take over from here. So I wish you the best. I will talk to you later. And remember that if you are a student at CUPS, you can join a special class that we have, Telephone English, so you can talk with your professors one-on-one every week. If you're interested, register with the English department and we will set you up. Without further ado, I think it's time to end the lesson. Once again, thanks very much. Thanks for watching. Bye. Next time.